Today, I'm going to talk to you all about something that is core to the very humans that we are, traveling. From our Homo sapien ancestors over 10,000 years ago, migrating out of Africa, to Christopher Columbus and other explorers uprooting their lives and seeking out new lands, to Lewis and Clark, pursuing manifest destiny in the final western frontier, and finally to us, today's travelers and beneficiaries of our everly globally connected world. Globally connected world, so traveling. It leads to adventure, it leads to memories, and most importantly, traveling leads to happiness. So my goal today is to inspire you all to not only travel more, but to do so more cheaply and more enjoyably. So to do that, I implore you all to implement these 3 strategies. To implement these 3 strategies. Number 1, use credit cards to get free flights. Number 2, use alternative accommodation platforms. And number 3, get creative. Think outside the tourist box. So flights. They get us to where we want to go. They're really important, but they're also the number 1 financial hurdle preventing travelers from traveling more. So I'm personally of the belief that you should never use the excuse that you can't afford to travel. And instead of paying $1,000 for flights, I challenge you all to fly for free. And how do you do that? Simply put, credit cards. Whether it's United, Mileage Explorer Plus, Delta's Amex, a host of others, all of these traveler-oriented credit cards can offer you up to 50,000 points so long as you spend $1,000 within 3 months of signing up. That is equivalent to about 2 free flights depending on the destinations that you choose. Now, $1,000, that may sound like a lot, but it's really not when you think about how much we spend on clothing, gifts, food, restaurants, nights out, you name it. And so, instead of spending cash, use those credit cards to build up those loyalty points and find out just how comfortable it is to sit in that economy section when you know you're flying for free. So we figured out a way to bypass the most expensive part of traveling. But how about the second, which is accommodations? Generally, we think of hotels, which are expensive, they're sterile, and what they lack in character, they make up for by draining your pockets. So instead of using hotels, I've got 2 great alternatives. And the first one that I really love is couchsurfing. So this is a platform that's used by a network of over 7 million users, and they're willing to allow you to stay at their homes for free or basically next to nothing. And whenever I've used this, it's an amazing experience for me to meet locals, peer into their lives, and really get a different insight into the city that I wouldn't have gained otherwise. But perhaps some of you don't want to stay with a random stranger living on his couch. That's completely understandable. So another alternative is Hostelworld. So you can navigate this site to find dozens, if not hundreds, of different hostels in the city that you plan to stay. And they really have something for everyone. Whether it's roomy and spacious, more so for the people that want to feel a little bit secure, or dirty and cramped, more so for the party goers. And there's something different, but what they all share in common is that they're on average 20 to 40% cheaper than your average hotel. And they allow you to meet other like-minded travelers, which I love. So you now know how to get to your dream destination. You now know how to stay in your dream destination. But how do we maximize our time in that dream destination as enjoyably and cheaply as possible? Well, I've got another 2 great ways for you. And the first one is take advantage of free walking tours. So what I always do when I go to a new city is I go to that hostel and I ask the people there, give me the time and the location of the next walking tour. And they offer these across all cities in the world. Europe, Asia, South America, you really just have to ask. And I swear 9 times out of 10, these walking tours are amazing. The guides will give you insights, histories, stories that you just really wouldn't get using a bus tour or using that pocket travel guidebook. And the other option is food. Now, I know you guys probably love going to restaurants, but when I've traveled, I found out that I was spending about $30 a meal, $60 a day, and that really adds up. So instead of going to all those touristy, overpriced restaurants, try cooking. It's actually an amazing experience in itself. I started going to local markets, picking out local cuisines, and going back to either my couch surfing homestay or the hostel where they have kitchens, and preparing myself a meal with a bunch of friends that I met there. It really was a buoyant time. It was a really amazing experience meeting other people. And what's even better is that instead of spending that $60 a day, I was able to actually spend $60 sometimes over the course of a week. So I hope I've stirred a little something in all of you. That desire to travel, that desire to see another side of yourself. Perhaps even during the course of this speech, you were thinking back to a vacation, something that you really loved, somewhere you really want to be. So use this new traveler toolset that I've given you, and please go home this weekend, some more homework for you, and prepare for your next vacation. And strive to make it longer, cheaper, and more enjoyable by implementing the strategies that I mentioned, which are using credit cards to get free flights, using alternative accommodation platforms, and thinking outside the tourist box. And while you're doing so, think about this one last thing, that we don't travel to escape our lives, but we don't travel to escape our lives, but for our lives not to escape us. So go ahead, get out there, bon voyage.